Welcome back to the QX Financial Podcast. Charity here, and we've got Junko. Today we're going to talk about diversification in planning for retirement. Now, of course, when we think diversification, we usually think of diversifying in your 401k or your IRA. Is that really what we're talking about here? Or is the 401k IRA the only tool that we need while planning for retirement?
Hello, Charlie. Thank you for joining me today on the podcast. You're absolutely right. When we think about diversification, most of us think about asset diversification. We're not thinking about a strategy or product diversification. So I will assume that most people that have a retirement plan, like a 401k, an IRA, 457, 403b, they already have some sort of asset diversification. But when it comes to retirement, yes, absolutely. You also want, if you want to optimize your retirement, you also want to have other tools and products around your retirement plan to maximize the benefits of your retirement plan. So we're going to discuss some of those today. But yeah, for sure, product diversification is as important, if not more, than asset diversification.
Perfect. So besides the 401k, IRA, 403b, all of those retirement plans that we know about, most of those kind of come through our employer, that kind of thing. Besides those, what other tools are out there and how can they be used to maximize our retirement benefits?
Yes, more people don't think about this, but there's two more strategies, maybe even three that we can add that should be added as part of your retirement plan. And so for those of you that follow our podcast, keep an eye on this because we're going to be sharing some hard data and some numbers and some comparisons of different strategies when it comes to product diversification. But for the most part, initially, we talked about an income annuity. So why is an income annuity important? Well, because it produces guaranteed income. I like to define an income annuity as a guaranteed paycheck for life, right? All of us know that our IRA money or 401k money is usually invested in mutual funds, and usually they tend to be volatile. They go up and down in value. Well, because they go up and down in value, that makes it really hard for anybody, including ourselves, financial planners, to actually pay you a consistent guaranteed income. Mutual funds are not designed to do that, right? An income annuity, it is designed to do that. So by being able to take some of the money that you have for retirement and allocate that to our guaranteed income annuity, we can put a bottom, so to speak, on your income needs and then build from there. And that makes it easier for you, just like Social Security. Social Security is a guaranteed annuity, really. It's the same thing in the sense that you're going to get a guaranteed paycheck for life every month as long as you are alive. So that will be option one. In addition to that, we also talk about adding life insurance, whether it's permanent insurance or term insurance, as part of your portfolio. Why? Well, because none of us are going to live forever. So if part of your objectives is to leave a legacy, then insurance comes into play. But there's additional benefits, especially of permanent insurance, that can enhance your income and enhance your tax diversification down the road. So those three things combined, your investments, investable assets, a guaranteed income annuity, or maybe even a deferred income annuity, alongside permanent insurance, all those three combined can really optimize your retirement income.
Perfect. So you talk about the deferred income annuity. At what point in planning for retirement would you say is the optimal time to start looking at deferred income annuities? Is the young professional 30, 35, are they going to want to start looking at that? Or is that something that someone should start looking at further along in their career?
That's a great question. So we usually, with our younger clients, let's say 25 to 55, let's say, we talked about accumulation, right? And start putting money in different buckets or different places so that when we get to that 55 plus scenario, now we can start moving things around to optimize and allocate for the retirement income. So we really get into the guaranteed income annuity conversation, I will say on that 50 plus area, because usually at that time, the client already has some assets built up. They are already thinking seriously about retirement and start kind of preparing for that. So anytime after 50 is a great age to start having that conversation. But like I said earlier, I do want to emphasize the point that even with our 30 somethings, with our 20 somethings, We may not be talking about a guaranteed income annuity, but we're talking to them about building assets and why should they do it. So when they get to that point, they know what to do.
Perfect. And you also touched on using life insurance. Why would life insurance mean anything for retirement planning? Obviously, you mentioned if you want to leave a legacy, but what other benefits could you use or could you get with having life insurance? And what kinds of insurance should we be looking for?
It's a great question. So when it comes to permanent insurance, specifically whole life insurance, it produces three benefits. Now, you already talked about the legacy part of it, the death benefit. But in addition to that, most people don't realize that part of their premiums, if not all the premiums they pay into these kind of contracts, can create cash value. And that cash value, as it grows on a tax deferred basis, can use free of any income taxes down the road as supplemental retirement income. But again, because it grows tax deferred, and then those dollars can be used on an income tax free basis, that again allows to pay a higher spendable income to the client without incurring any additional taxes. In other words, because you don't have to worry about the tax part, you actually get to spend more money, therefore increasing the funds available for the client. And so that will be number two. So first is the legacy that you talked about, the tax advantages. And the third one will be liquidity. Unlike your retirement plan where you have to wait until you're 15 and a half or older to touch it or to separate from employment, you can actually access a lot of that capital you're putting into permanent insurance throughout your life. Why is that important? Because think about how can that help you prevent you from getting into debt, how that can help you to finance other things you need to buy or make other investments. It's like a high yield savings account in a way, right? You can use and allocate those dollars to what's important to you during those accumulation years. So that flexibility also creates potential for higher earnings if that money is allocated correctly. So that I will say those three things: tax diversification, legacy, and liquidity use and control of your dollars. That's really what permanent insurance brings to the table.
Great. So with tax diversification, I learned that when I retire, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket. So if I have products that are tax deferred, I'm going to be okay because I won't really need to pay all that much into taxes. So why do we need to worry about tax diversification when we're in retirement?
That is true. And when you look at the financial planning media, for the lack of a better word, or when you look at financial TikTok professionals, they talked about that because again, that was maybe true at some point in the past, but it definitely hasn't been true in a long time, and it's definitely not true right now. Most people, when they retire, will be in a larger, they will have a larger liability, or they might be in a higher bracket. So again, if you guys are watching this, stay tuned because we're gonna make videos on that particular topic coming up. But all I would like you to remember today is that if you want to have the same or better lifestyle, now you're retired, no more deductions. Every day is Saturday, really, because now you got retired, you can go and enjoy yourself. You're probably gonna spend more money than you were spending when you were working. And therefore, if you have the same income and now the kids are gone and now the mortgage is paid off and all these deductions are gone, even if taxes remain the same, you will have to pay a higher share of that money in income taxes. And now you have Social Security coming into play and other assets that you build throughout your working lifetime. You guys see the problem? So this idea that you will be in a lower tax bracket is just wrong. It's wrong, especially if you want to be successful and you want to have a successful retirement, you want to have money, right? So because of that reason, because most of our clients want to be successful and they want to have a great retirement, they're going to have more assets. That becomes an issue. But if we plan correctly, like some of the things that we're talking about, we can actually reduce and potentially even eliminate some of those tax liabilities at the same time we provide a better lifestyle. Sounds kind of too good to be true, right? Can I spend more money and pay less taxes? Well,
Sounds like a good idea to me.
actually, you can. Exactly. You can do that. All it takes is some planning. So don't forget to let us know if you need some help with that.
Well, sounds great. Thank you for talking to us today about diversification in the tools that we have available for planning for retirement.
Thank you, Shirley. And I'll bring one more point for folks watching this video. Also, some people talk about buying term and invest in the difference, right?
Yes,
And and you're kind of including insurance a little bit into your retirement plan. Well, we have a joke win-win in our industry when we talk about buying term and spending the difference. Because what happens in real life is most people do not invest the difference. And
right.
also because that term insurance runs out, there goes the legacy. That term insurance policy is designed not to pay, right? That's why it only goes for 10, 20, sometimes even 30 years, but no longer than that. So odds are that term insurance is not gonna pay. So you're giving out that premium because you're not gonna get it back. And more importantly, you are giving out the return on that premium that you actually pay. And that could be in the tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm not saying that it's a bad strategy, it's just not optimal. If the goal of the client is to have an optimized retirement scenario, term is just not going to be the optimal choice.
That makes sense. Kind of like renting an apartment. You're not going to get any additional value out of that except having a space to live. Whereas if you have more permanent insurance, you are gaining equity in that, and that's something you can hold on to forever. So
Exactly.
great insights. Thanks.
And that equity is incredibly valuable. So, but anyway, thank you, Shirley, for all those great questions.
All right. Thank you.
Anyway,
And
see
we'll
you guys
see
next
all of
time.
you again next time.
Bye bye.